The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Drivers, start your engines. Pull those belts down tight one more time, warm up those tires, hit your marks, and let's go racing, boys and girls. Nascar, Indycar, Formula One, Formula E, and NHRA Racing Talk. This is the Championship Racing Network. Now here is your host, Steve West and Matt Nicholson, with producer John Myers.
Yeah, the gang's all here this week. Matt's going to be in studio. Coach Matt, still coaching, but he'll be in studio all day. And we've got YouTube running, and that means producer John is on it. We appreciate it. Silly season rolls on as well. I'm Steve West. Coming up on the big show this morning, television ratings. How they were this year and how do they compare to 2024? As noted, silly season continues. Got news from NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, Formula E, and the NHRA. So, yeah, talking about silly season, man, we are in full force. Some drivers are going to get some new numbers for 2026. Hard to believe we're already talking about that. Practice sessions for IndyCar and Formula E will tell you how those went. And, well, let's face it, that's just the tip of the iceberg. We ain't no Titanic either. We are CRN. We're going to run over that iceberg and give you everything, all the news and commentary you would expect next.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network. Four tires and 2 cans of fuel, and we're back to more racing action on the Championship Racing Network.
Yeah, let's get this party started, shall we? I'm Steve West. That's Matt Nicholson, producer John on CRN Live on YouTube. If you happen to be of a mind, head over there. We'll give you some images to go along with some of these stories as we go out throughout the course of this morning. But let's talk about last week first. Championship weekend last Saturday night out west, the Xfinity Series final race under that name. Don't forget, they become the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. I'm trying to get used to that. That's why I keep saying it. Took place. They crowned a champion. When all was said and done, the man with the most wins on the season, not the one hoisting the championship trophy. Instead, the man who began the season with a win at Daytona made it a bookend of a season, claiming the win in the season ender. That gives Jesse Love a Title 2. So Jesse Love is your champion. 25% chance when you stop and think about it, because Richard Childress has one car in there, 3 Junior Motorsports cars.
Yeah, and he made the most of it.
You and I talking about it on the Cross Flags podcast this week. Find it on CRN Live on YouTube. We figure this right here, certainly not the championship race from the Truck Series, which we talked about last week on the show.
Right.
Really not necessarily the Sunday race, because there's a lot of stuff that we'll get into here in a minute. This right here, we think, is probably what drove the final nail into the coffin of the playoff structure as it currently sits.
I'm going to say it's 70-30.
Okay.
I'll say 70-30.
So you're going to lay most of the blame, at least, on this.
Majority of it, yes.
I got you. Love said after the race, quote, "I just feel so clean and relieved." Love margin of victory was 0.861 seconds. Said, "It's been a tough year for me. Put so much work into it. And the people like my dad, driver coach Scott Speed, my whole number 2 team worked just as hard as this for my dream as I have for my own. Really hasn't set in yet. All these emotions doesn't feel real at all." If you're winning a title, and it doesn't matter what level the title is, could be just track title, could be all the way to a series championship. Mm-hmm. It's got to be kind of the same feeling, though, doesn't it? I mean, to a certain extent, you got to let the whole feeling of having won a championship settle in, don't you?
Really, you got to give it the 24-hour rule.
Okay.
That's the way I would look at it. You got to give it the 24-hour rule. Let it have time to sink in. Let it have time to absorb.
Yeah.
And then go to work.
There you go. Yeah. Speaking of which, not much of an offseason when it comes to NASCAR. He got also talking about the man with the most wins on the year, Connor Zilisch, who is moving up full-time into the Cup Series in 2026, said this, quote, "He's my best friend in the whole world, but not when we're racing each other. We race each other hard but fair. He ran a really great race tonight, but my car was just better tonight." Is that the case?
I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that.
It's just maybe how things happen to work out in that last stint.
Yeah.
Probably a better way to look at it.
That's exactly what it was.
Okay. Love wins the race, the final Xfinity Series championship. Then you got Eric Almirola. He was in second place. In that process, he claims the owner's title for Joe Gibbs in the number 19 car. Zilisch was third, trailed by Brandon Jones, 2024 champ Justin Allgaier. Then you got the rest of the top 10, Sammy Smith, Taylor Gray, Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, Justin Bonsignor once again filling in for William Sawalich. So the final standings, Jesse Love, your champ, Connor Zilisch second, Justin Allgaier third, Carson Kvapil fourth, Brandon Jones fifth, Austin Hill sixth, Taylor Gray, Sammy Smith, Sheldon Creed, and after having been suspended for the final race, Sam Mayer drops from a potential 5th place to a 10th place finish, but hey, you dug your own grave. Might as well lay in it. Mm-hmm. Sunday, Phoenix also hosted the Cup Series final race of the year. Denny Hamlin was attempting to claim a title, his first in his 20th season. He did get the pole. He led by far the most laps on the day. But here's the thing, and this happens more often than most people would like to admit, and more than some people seem to remember. The driver who ends up leading the most laps, not always the leader when the checkered flag is flying, and this was the case here. Denny Hamlin didn't. Instead, a late race caution for a flat on championship contender William Byron's car resulted in an overtime finish. 3 contenders left on the lead lap all had different takes. The 2 Joe Gibbs drivers, Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin, chose to go with 4 tires. Hamlin had stickers. Briscoe was doing scuffs because he had run out of stickers because of a couple of flats from earlier in the race. Kyle Larson, on the other hand, the other Hendrick driver, he elected to gamble a little bit with 2, but was it really that big of a gamble? They had done 2 tire stops before, and it had worked. It really hadn't hurt that 5 car.
Well, being that short of a run, yeah, you got to take 2 tires for track position.
And considering where Larson was pitted compared, and I'm just going to put Denny Hamlin. I'm going to put Chase Briscoe in this. I'll just put Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin is all the way down to the end of pit road. First one off pit road, if you want to look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Could his spotter have alerted, hey, Larson's only going 2, and made them do some sort of an audible?
Not really, because where the spotter stand is at Phoenix, it's in a bad spot. Let's call it that.
So he's not really all that privy to figuring out what the 5 is doing.
Where Larson was pitted versus where Hamlin was pitted, Hamlin, basically, if we're looking on YouTube, the way of looking at it is how I'm going to describe it. Your line of sight, you're not looking across the track, you're looking down the track, where Phoenix's spotter stand is. Larson was pitted on the backstretch, so you have a straight line of sight. Hamlin was pitted, would be off to the right of where the spotter is. You have a clear line of sight on Hamlin, but you don't have a clean line of sight on Larson.
Okay.
You would have to have a second set of eyes watching them. Like, hey, they're going 2. That's what you would have to have happen.
Is that against the rules?
To a degree, yes.
Okay.
At an oval.
See, I'm trying to answer all those questions for all those people that were wondering why they didn't switch.
To a degree, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So Denny Hamlin goes 4, and that's the way that goes. If it got Larson off of pit road, obviously ahead of both Hamlin and Briscoe, and it paid off. Larson didn't win the race, but again, this is kind of somewhat akin to running from a bear. I don't necessarily have to be faster than the bear as long as I'm faster than the people that I'm with. And Larson bests Hamilton, who gets stuck behind traffic, couldn't make up ground. As for Briscoe, he dropped as soon as the final green flag was shown. A lot of that had to do with traffic. It wasn't really a tire situation. He just got bundled up in a whole lot of traffic back there. Mm-hmm. Ryan Blaney is the guy who wins the race, trailed by Brad Keselowski. Nice run for them. And then the now two-time champion Larson in 3rd, Joey Logano 4th, Kyle Busch 5th. Denny Hamlin could do no better than come up just 6th. Josh Berry 7th, and a good run for him. Michael McDowell 8th. Ryan Preece and Chase Elliott fill out the top 10. Chase Briscoe, by the way, finished 18th. William Byron, because of that flat, 2 laps down in 33rd. So Larson's your champion for a second time. This adds to his 2021 title. Hamlin, who was understandably dejected after the race, is 2nd in final points. Chase Briscoe 3rd, William Byron 4th. Rest of your final top 10 for the 2025 in points. Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, and Ross Chastain. Then there was just a little bit north of Phoenix, right about the same time the Cup Series race ended. The finals got underway in earnest for the NHRA and the Dodge NHRA Nevada Nationals, presented by Direct Connection. Yeah, I know that's a lot of words. In Top Fuel, lady ain't done racing yet, and she proved it. Brittany Force, who to nobody's surprise was the top qualifier, she's done that a lot, made it to the finals against Sean Langdon. Now, Langdon was a touch quicker off the light in the reaction time, but then Force was in the lead by the 330-foot mark. Goes on, claims the win. 3.704 ET, 337.33 miles per hour. That's her second win this year, 19th of her career. I mean, we've seen qualifying numbers in the upper 330s and low 340s, but to do that in the finals?
That's stout.
We don't see that enough, in my opinion.
Stout.
And way to go, Brittany Force.
That is stout.
On the funny car front, Austin Prock and his primary challenger for the title, Matt Hagan, paired off in the finals there. Prock ever so slightly quicker on the reaction time, but then it was all Matt Hagan, especially after Prock lost traction. Hagan wins with a 3.877 ET, 327.03 miles per hour. That's his 3rd win of the year, number 57 of his career. Pro Stock car came down to a battle between Matt Hartford and Dallas Green, battle of stellar reaction times. Hartford pulls a .012, Glenn with a .006. At the other end, it was just about as close. Glenn claims the win. The margin of victory, .023 seconds. That's practically all reaction time. Glenn posts a 6.602 ET, 206.61 miles per hour. That's his 8th win of 2025 and number 21 all time. And then Pro Stock Motorcycle came down to a battle between Angie Smith and Gage Herrera. They were practically even off the light and just as close as the other end. Reaction advantage went to Herrera by a margin of .004 seconds. The win, kind of predictably by Herrera, the exact same margin, .004 seconds. Herrera pulls a 6.809 ET, 198.17 miles per hour. 7th win of this year alone, 28th win of his career. And it doesn't stretch back that far, only about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So here's your standings heading into the season finale. In Top Fuel, mathematically, only 2 drivers can win it. Doug Kalitta's got a 144-point advantage over Sean Langdon. That means Kalitta's got to go out early, and Sean Langdon has to win it.
Yep.
Funny car, pretty much the same thing. Austin Prock, Matt Hagan, the only 2 mathematically available. Prock leads by 101 points. There's some wiggle room there, but again, it's going to have to really, really go Matt Hagan's way.
Yeah, and then some.
Ditto in Pro Stock Car. Dallas Glenn, Greg Anderson separated by 92 points. Dallas Glenn with a much easier path, obviously. In Pro Stock Motorcycle, this is a 3-way battle mathematically. Richard Gadsden actually leads Gage Herrera, not by much, 21. Matt Smith, on the other hand, needs a lot of help. He's down by 129, but still mathematically alive.
Mm-hmm.
Racing this weekend, not actually a whole lot going on, but right now, started on Thursday, this is the season finale for the IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series. They're in Carolina's Durana Motorsports Park, used to be Gallet Motorsports Park. Practice qualifying, some eliminations began Thursday, continued yesterday. Today gets down to the finals of the Outlaw Nitro Series. Starts 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Central Time. I know you can see it through IHRA.com. YouTube, I guess, probably has it somewhere.
IHRA TV.
IHRA TV on
Yep.
YouTube. Thank you. Appreciate it. And then for tomorrow, the only race that's up is the Formula One race. They get back into action way down under south of the border. Sao Paulo Grand Prix in Brazil. They're going to run on the 15-turn, 2.8-mile-long Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace circuit, or what used to be called Interlagos. Race is going to air on ESPN2 because it's going to air at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time. No, they're not putting it on ABC, and it's on ESPN2 because, well, they're doing NFL pregame stuff. By the way, this morning, got sprint race and got qualifying. I don't know which the order. I would imagine sprint race first, then qualifying for the race tomorrow, and I don't know exactly what the schedule is. We'll let Matt take a look at that. There is a warning here. This could be a rainy affair for both sprint and qualifying, so we'll see about that. By the way, the NHRA, the only other series that we cover that is in season, is off this weekend. All right, what do you got? What are you seeing?
Computer's being a little on the slow side.
Why am I not surprised?
Here we go. All right. The sprint race is running right now and is under red flag.
Okay. It's under red flag. How far in?
That's what I'm trying to see here.
All right. Tell you what. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll let the computer hopefully catch up with us. And then we'll get this update. Sprint race ongoing under red flag conditions down in Brazil. Then we'll get into some news here. Yeah, there's more court updates on the 2311 and Front Row Motorsports versus NASCAR side of things. They appear to be barreling headlong towards a trial. Let's just put it that way.
Sprint race now, qualifying later.
That sounds about right. We'll be right back.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network. tires only, and back out to the track for more action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back into the show here. All right. Hopefully our computers have caught up a little bit. Got a little bit of an update going on from the sprint race that's going on in Formula One down in Brazil. And Matt, you said you found a little bit of an update on IHRA as they're going through quals.
Yeah, with F1, the sprint race is under a red flag right now still. You got you're all the way from 1 through 10. Norris, Antonelli, Russell, Verstappen, Alonso, Leclerc, Hamilton, Stroll, Gasly, Albon.
Gasly's a little bit of a surprise.
Oscar Piastri is out.
Whoa, that is a surprise. Okay.
Yeah.
And how far into it are they? Does it say?
It does not say. No.
Okay. And only the top 8 get points on this because it's a sprint race. All right. And IHRA? There's some crossover, by the way, with the NHRA off. Some of those guys.
There's a few crossovers. Yeah.
Some of those guys have decided to take part in the IHRA finale.
With Top Fuel and Funny Car, and apparently Pro Stock as well, because there are 23 Pro Stocks on the ground.
Wow. Okay.
Let's see who crossed over. John Montecalvo crossed over. Camry Caruso crossed over. That's all I see right now for them.
Okay.
Funny Car. Bob Bodie crossed over. Dale Worsham's been running with them all year.
Yeah, yeah.
Dale Creasy crossed over. Will Smith dropped from Top Fuel to Funny Car.
Interesting.
And that's it.
Okay.
Top Fuel. Cameron Ferre crossed over. Scott Palmer's been running with them all year.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Foley crossed over, but Doug Foley crashed out.
Yeah.
And currently going into eliminations, Lex June is setting P1.
Go Lex June. Love to hear it. Yep. All right, let's give you the latest in the legal runnings here. Yet another ruling in the case of 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports against NASCAR. Can't wait for this to be over. U.S. District Judge Kenneth Bell ruled Tuesday that the teams were correct when it came to the definition of the term premier stock car racing, quote unquote. They state that NASCAR indeed controls that market. Therefore, NASCAR's argument that the teams could race at another stock car series and do just as well is, well, moot. Bell's finding was published. It reads in part, quote, NASCAR deliberately, clearly, and unambiguously alleged that the relevant market is, quote, the market for the entry of cars into the NASCAR Cup Series in the United States and any other location where a Cup Series race is held. The same transaction, sale, purchase of premier stock car racing services cannot be a different relevant market depending only on which side is complaining, Bell wrote. Most simply put, NASCAR made a strategic decision in asserting its counterclaim and now must live with the consequences. That's a whole lot of legal talk and basically saying, yeah, you're the premier circuit. Nobody else compares on that level to you, regardless of what you may or may not think about NASCAR. And, so you're wrong. So live with it.
Pretty much.
This is a major win for the teams.
Yeah, it is. And the more and more of these, considering I'm still a little bit on the bitter side about a few weeks ago.
You're not the only one.
Yeah. I hear the words of Percy Whitmore in my mind. dead man walking. Because this is shaping up to be that to me.
It's looking that way.
It's shaping up that way.
And here's the other side of it. And I'm not sure whether this is necessarily a win for one side or the other. But the lawsuit got amended. Both sides agreed that they were going to drop Section 1 of the original filing of the lawsuit. Now, Section 1 is the one where it was claiming that NASCAR was in violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act. Now, they're going to continue with Section 2 of the lawsuit, which basically claims it's counterproductive when it comes to being competitive and all that.
The way I looked at it and understood it, that Section 2 of it is pretty close to Section 1.
So maybe it was just because of double talk?
Possibly.
We'll see.
And for some reason, I'm sitting here picturing Jeffrey Kessler as Paul Edgecombe getting ready to go roll on 2.
It's probably true.
That's what I'm sitting here picturing it as. Because everything is now all of a sudden falling in the exact favor of them, and the race teams going like, well, yeah, they're kind of right.
Well, and this has been kind of the trend here. Since this lawsuit got filed, most of the original rulings, whether it was the original judge or in this case, Judge Bell, most of the original rulings went in the team's favor. Mm-hmm. And then it switched. And then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of rulings went into NASCAR's favor. Now it seems like that momentum has switched back.
It is. And then now you've got, considering I don't see it in here, it was teased, so I'll throw it out there. You got Roger Penske and Rick Hendrick that are now up to be deposed about it, but they're trying to get out of it because they don't want to take one side or the other.
Yeah.
Because they're buddies with Jim France.
And they got to get along with the race team owners at Front Row in 2311.
I get where they're coming from, but I get where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But when it's time to call a spade, throw your card on the table.
Might as well. It's about, you're going to have to go all in here pretty soon because this thing's supposed to go to trial in less than a month. Then we got this situation. The co-owner of 2311 Racing and Joe Gibbs and a Joe Gibbs Racing driver, Denny Hamlin. He was at the NASCAR awards ceremony on Tuesday evening. Well, they do a whole big press junket beforehand, and we got a picture of the particular press opportunity that Denny Hamlin had, as it turned out, at the same time with his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate, Chase Briscoe. When producer John puts the picture up on CRN Live on YouTube, you will notice that you can see Chase Briscoe very easily. You can't tell where Denny Hamlin is. There wasn't one reporter, one photographer asking or taking pictures of Briscoe. Every single one of them was paying attention to Hamlin, who was asked about his plans for the future. And he noted that things from only 2 days before were still pretty raw. Hamlin noted he just needs a little bit of time away from racing, away from a race car, needs to get some distance from the 2025 season and how it ended. Remember, his dad, we have found out, has a terminal disease. We're not going to get into that fully. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to the Hamlin family on that. But he also noted that, yes, while he wants to step away from it for right now and just kind of get his feelings and his mind set right, he notes that he's still under contract for 2026, and he is fiercely loyal to his team owner, Joe Gibbs. That's the only owner that he's driven for in the Cup Series. So he's going to be back. I don't see him stepping away. I just don't.
I don't see Carl Edwards take two.
No. If he had won the title,
maybe
there's a possibility. Those percentages creep up somewhat, but I still don't see it.
I don't either, but here's how I'll word it. He's going to be out for blood next year.
Yeah.
He'll be out for blood, but he'll be out for blood. But it's still telling to me of how so many people, let me backtrack here. So many competitors and other people involved with the day-to-day team operations. Hence why I said team operations.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I didn't say series.
Right.
Were very, very, very apologetic. Let's word it that way. And sympathetic. Because of what happened and how it happened. There's no other way to say it. It's pretty clear cut, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Now, when you have William Byron that comes up to, and I'm still kind of blown away that they would actually, after somebody that just suffered a defeat with a championship that close, you got to go to media availability. No, I'm going to gather my thoughts up. What are you going to do? It's the last race of the year. What are you going to do? Find me?
Yeah,
I'm going to gather my thoughts up.
I'll write a check. Thanks.
Yeah, here's your check. But I'm going to sit down and get out my fire suit because I just led 208 out of 312 laps. And on I'm still going to say a gimmick caution. Here's why I say gimmick. Through the entire race, every single one of the final, NCAA, every single one of the final four.
Might as well put it that way.
Up until that last overtime caution.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe had what, 2 flats?
Chase Briscoe had 2.
Denny had one.
Kyle Larson had one.
one.
Denny had one.
I don't remember caution flags on those.
There were caution flags on. There was not a caution flag on Larson.
Okay.
There was not a caution flag on Briscoe. Hamlin's happened under caution.
Okay.
They were coming to pit road. Pit road just had opened up, and they were coming to pit road.
Gotcha.
All right. But it's really weird up until the last little part. The only one car that didn't have a problem was a 24.
Yeah. And then it has a problem.
Then it has a problem.
But, okay. Let me interrupt you real quick.
Go ahead.
You and I have been up in the tower. We've seen this many, many times at several different tracks. Does it really surprise you in any way, shape, or form that with less than 10 laps to go and somebody gets a flat tire, they threw a caution?
Picture this is the button. Okay?
Does it shock you?
No. Because Tim Berman was probably sitting there going, ooh.
Come on, something happened. Something happened.
All right. And then now, tire goes flat. 24 starts going to the wall and slows down. Click.
Yeah.
Didn't even give him a chance to get off of the racetrack.
I mean,
get off the track and get to the bottom.
Yeah.
Different story.
Yeah.
Because the tire was not coming apart.
No.
There was no debris on the track.
I don't remember him really hitting the wall that hard either.
He didn't hit the wall that hard because he had the car locked down.
So it was a paint scraper.
Pretty much. They had to call a caution for flakes of a day-glow yellow, neon yellow flakes off of a wrap on the racetrack. Oh, we can't get that in to stop a radiator up. I mean, this manufactured drama for what? Nothing. Just like, I'll say it this way. If that Truck Series title race on Friday night had been at Talladega and somebody would have had the fortitude to stick it 7 wide, not 3, not 4, but 7.
Yeah, pulled Corey Heim.
Dave Moody would have done a swan dive off of the Sunoco Tower in turn 2.
Oh, yeah.
Onto the track going, holy Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, as excited as he was for calling 7 wide in the Truck Series, to call it for the Cup Series, oh, man, he would have been out of his mind.
That's still manufactured. I'm sorry. In a way, that's manufactured because I've never seen 7 wide anywhere.
Yeah.
I have seen 5 wide before Out of Bounds came into play. I've seen 5 wide on a handful of occasions at Talladega. 7?
It's nuts.
Pushing it.
Few people have said this week, and granted, we don't know the exact format that they're going to use next year, but we think they're going to go back to the way that it was under the old Winston Cup, which is running a 36 points race season, no playoffs, none of that. That's what we think. And I've heard more than one person say that they think that this year was Denny Hamlin's last best chance at a title. Do you agree?
No.
Okay.
Nope. I don't.
All right. We'll find out. I mean, I found it a very interesting comment because, yeah, after having such a great season and having it end that way, sure, you could be in for one of two things. You're either in for a downfall because the emotional letdown is just too heavy for you to get out from under.
Very.
Or it could just refocus your team, your group, this 11 team, let's put it that way, that much more to go out there and prove, yeah, we have the capability to do this. And format be darned.
Bingo.
Okay. Some of the changes that are going to happen for next year, and we can't play the video. It's copyrighted, but we can tell you that it is available out there on social media, and it is a must-see for those on social media. Trackhouse Racing revealed the numbers for their 2026 that the drivers will be using, and we'll show those numbers to you here. Least surprising of this, if you're on CRN Live on YouTube, by the way, least surprising of this is Ross Chastain. He's going to retain the number 1. There's no shock. In numerical order, we go from the 1 to the 88. That is something that remains, but at the same time, if you look at the initials below it, if you're on CRN Live on YouTube, that's a CZ. That's not an SVG. That means Connor Zilic will go in and take over the 88 car.
I'm not overly shocked at that.
Not really. In the video, he finds out in a letter that was penned by and has a voiceover by Dale Earnhardt Jr., who was the last really to run the number before Trackhouse got the rights to it. talking about how much it meant to him and how much it meant to some of the drivers before who had also run that number.
And how he put his staple on it this year in Xfinity.
I don't have a problem with this.
I have zero issue.
The biggest change is about SVG. He came up third, and his letter, when open, caught him by such a surprise that he couldn't read it out loud. You hear the person who's behind the camera going, "Can you read it out loud?" And he still doesn't do it. And then a voiceover begins, and it's the voiceover from his father, who noted that SVG is going to take over the number 97. So they're dropping the number 99. They're making it 97.
What I've seen and the way I understand it, the points that SVG had for this year, they're just doing a number change. The 97 is still the 88 points, but the 99 points is now on the 88.
Okay, makes sense.
Yep.
As for the number 97, why 97? Well, this is a number that both SVG and his dad, Robert Van Gisbergen, used while they were racing in Australia. His mother, who passed away in 2024, his dad put in the voiceover that his mother would be so proud of him in using that number as well. He used that number when he was a rookie in the Xfinity Series in 2024, claimed 3 wins with 3 poles that year. And you could tell he was very, very emotional about it. He was wiping away tears, everything. This move to the number 97, I would have thought they would have told him ahead of time. Was this, do you honestly think, the actual reveal that said, "Hey, listen, this is going to be your number"?
The way that video looked, I think it was the actual reveal.
Okay.
I feel like it was.
Kind of a cool way of doing it.
Oh, for sure. Probably one of the better ways I've seen it done in ever.
Yeah, and I love the raw emotion of it for SVG, because you can tell this means a lot to him to get this.
For sure.
And on top of that, I mean, the kid's dominant. The guy's dominant on road courses. I mean, he basically almost swept the entire season.
Yeah, I've got every one of them but one.
His main competition probably is going to come from in-house next year when it comes to the road courses, and that's Connor Zilic. But we've also been noting just incrementally, he keeps getting better at oval tracks.
He did for sure that at the end of the year.
Truth be told, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if he jumped up and claimed 1 oval track win next year. It really wouldn't.
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be the least little bit surprised.
And especially as emotional as he got about this number, which means so much to him and so much to his family.
Yeah, and touching on that with the oval track win, I think it'll be somewhere that people would really least expect.
Yeah.
And I'm zeroed in on Martinsville.
John, go ahead and throw that picture up there. We'll just go ahead and let everybody kind of know. I mean, this is just one of his I need to wipe my eyes sort of thing. I could have given you probably half a dozen different pictures of him in different ways to show exactly how emotional he got. All I can tell you is if you're on social media, go find Trackhouse Media or Trackhouse Racing social media. Twitter, X, is probably the best one, but I think you can do it on Facebook as well. Go find it and watch it. It's actually very, very well done on their part.
Very well, extremely well done.
All right, on to the next thing here, and 7-time champion turned team owner Jimmy Johnson, still technically an active driver, even though he's really now the face and the primary owner of Legacy Motor Club. But he said he's going to get into a handful of 2026 races, noted one specifically that he plans to attempt to qualify for. This really shouldn't come as much of a shock. It's the race out of the Coronado Naval Base in San Diego. Why do I say that shouldn't be much of a shock? Well, one big reason, Jimmy Johnson's words. Quote, "Growing up just miles from San Diego, I dreamed about racing here in a NASCAR vehicle someday. Never thought it'd be possible. Just came to the realization there would be no way NASCAR would race in the city of San Diego, as there was really nowhere to put a track. So it's just mind-blowing to me that NASCAR made this a reality, to come back home, compete in front of my community, the military, my family, my friends, to do it with Carvana," his sponsor, "and Legacy Motor Club. This is one of those full circle experiences I will never forget. This is a lifelong dream." As they put it on social media, this is a bucket list race for him.
Yeah, I mean, it would be for me too.
Sure.
But, I don't think there's a way they could have put a track around Qualcomm before they tore it down.
No, not really. Again, applause to them for actually figuring out a way to put one on a naval base. I think this is a one-time only thing. I don't see it being a regular thing.
I don't see the U.S. Navy doing it multiple years.
Not on an annual basis. This is a special thing, 250th anniversary of the Navy, 250th anniversary of the United States. It just makes sense to be able to do it one time.
And if they don't do a recreated video, I'm going to say this before we go to break. If they don't do a recreated video with Ed Harris and Tom Cruise, I want them packed up on the road to North Island within the hour. Because you're going to North Island.
We're telling you this. This is free advice, NASCAR.
I mean,
NASCAR Productions specifically.
So, Dear Eric Morse. I'll title the letter, Dear Eric Morse, because we know that's one of the heads of it. If you don't have Ed Harris do a voiceover, I want them packed up on the road to North Island within the hour and show a convoy of haulers leaving.
Do it.
Social media has missed the boat on that one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Got to do it. Got to do it. All right. So last year, we showed you a graphic that showed literally every major series race televised and how much viewership they got. We're about to do it again. This shows what might turn out to be a disturbing trend for NASCAR. Details next.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network. Go, go, go. We're back to the Championship Racing Network.
And making a bonsai run here to the end of hour number one. And we need to get into some television talk here because There's some pretty big money being exchanged here when it comes to getting TV rights for these different racing series. NASCAR, of course, being the what it is. So how did things go in the 2025 season for NASCAR and TV? Well, according to the executives, it's about what they expected. They said that they were kind of expecting a drop of about 14%. Break it down. NASCAR Commissioner Steve Phelps said during the new media deal going into effect for the season that the drop was expected because 5 races were moving either off of broadcast or cable television onto Amazon Prime, the streaming service.
That doesn't matter.
Phelps said this, quote, when the season started because of the distribution changes to be less broadcast heavy, more cable heavy and streaming, we knew we were going to have a reset. We had projected that reset and told everyone in our industry the reset would be between 14 and 15% in Cup. Okay, nailed it. I tend to agree with you. I don't think that it matters that much because we can look at the numbers, and I will here in just a moment. If there's a plus to this, going onto the streaming services, the demographics as far as age dropped about half a decade, about 5 years for the average viewer. And as far as their average age, so there is a plus there, but the Phoenix race, Cup Series title race, mind you, last Sunday pulled in at 2.77 million pairs of eyeballs. That's a drop from 2.9 million last year. As for the season average viewership for all races, 2.48 million viewers. That's down from 2.9 over the course of the 2024 season. That's the part that should be eye-opening. Mm-hmm. That's a drop of 500,000 viewers. Mm-hmm. That's not insignificant. Mm-mm. I don't care if you expected it or not. That's not insignificant.
No.
As for Amazon Prime, Phelps said the numbers were actually a little bit better than they initially expected, pulling in an average of 2.16 million people per race. That's pretty good, all things being equal, for the first year. And I will state this, and I think you agree. Mm-hmm. In watching Fox, Amazon Prime, TNT, and NBC USA, I'd say the coverage on Amazon Prime was on par with the best, if not above the best from the others.
Yeah, it was on another level.
And I'm just talking the coverage. You can talk about commercial breaks, whatever you want to all day long. I'm not calling that. Streaming services have a much different way of being able to do things than broadcast. I get that. I'm just talking about the commentators, the coverage they gave it. It was just above and beyond.
It was.
I got to give them a lot of credit. That, to me, is the new bar for everybody to set.
I see a huge, huge, huge problem on this list.
Okay. We'll get to it here in just a second.
Go ahead.
Phelps did his best to compliment the media partners, said, quote, everyone just raised their game. Amazon's production was tremendous. Turner Sports, tremendous. I think it was good. I don't know about tremendous. NBC already had a high bar, right? They did. The Turner numbers were slightly softer than what they thought we would be, slightly, but in line with projections. Then he faced reality a bit more, saying this, quote, I would say the cable portion of the NBC package has been a little softer than we had expected. Bounce back on the NBC races. Again, the expectation moving forward now that we've had the reset is that we are going to grow. Okay. We're going to grow because we have the best racing in the world. Our stars are going to be more out there. Well, they need to be. We're creating better content, all the things that make fandom. Again, we're concerned about where the ratings are. Not really. It's about exactly where we thought it would be. Okay. That's one way of putting a rose onto that. As for the Xfinity Series, all the races on the CW network found almost everywhere in the United States via an over-the-air channel. The races averaged 1.034 million people per race. That was a 10% increase over 2024 when it was all on cable and split between Fox Sports 1 and USA. Craftsman Truck Series, essentially the same. All the coverage again on Fox Sports, mostly the cable network Fox Sports 1. Rare exception, kind of like Fall Talladega. So Xfinity, we figured it was going to jump up. Again, every single race found on broadcast network. Truck Series, we expected it. Cup Series, again, I say this is going to be a little bit concerning. But if you're on CRN Live on YouTube, we have that list there of not quite 200 races. And again, this is incomplete because NHRA and Formula One are still ongoing. But when you look at this, if you take this at its face value, and again, Matt's got a problem with it, I'll give it to him.
I got a big problem with something.
Okay. If you take this at face value, for the 2025 season to date, 35 of the top 50 races were Cup Series races. The top rated race, though, being the Indy 500. Now, that was number 2 last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Daytona 500 rain delayed?
Yes, I think so.
That generally does hurt things.
To a degree, yeah.
But if you look, Daytona 500 sits at number 2. So it didn't hurt it that bad. They just switched places. 2 biggest races of the year here in the United States. I get it. Formula One had only 1 or 2 races in the top 50 last year. They have 7 this year. Every single one of them that was shown on ABC shows up inside the top 50 as opposed to the ESPN or ESPN2. For IndyCar, first full season on the Fox network paid dividends, not only with the Indy 500, but adding the season opener at St. Petersburg is inside the top 50, whereas in 2024 it was only the Indy 500. Get this, the NHRA is in on the action as well. Chase for the championship event at Texas makes it to the top 50. That's something they didn't even have. None of their events made it into the top 50 in 2024. Xfinity Series, their first race on the CW, got 2 races in the top 50, none in 2024. All 38 of the Cup Series races, they say, pulled in at least 1.2 million viewers. Xfinity Series pulled in more than 1 million for 21 of their 33 races. Formula One in 17 of their 24 races so far have claimed over 1 million viewers. IndyCar got 5 of their 17. NHRA 1 million twice this year so far. ARCA Series actually got into the action one time with 1 million viewers plus. So there's the basic rundown using that graphic. But you've got a problem. And what do you got? Because, again, the main problem that I've got with this is that right now this is still incomplete. The F1 season and NHRA technically aren't done.
But in regards to the stock car series.
In regards to what you got. Okay.
Stock car series.
Yep.
I'm going to read this off, and I want everybody to listen really, 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 really carefully.
Okay.
Truck Series Daytona FS1, 900,000.
Mm-hmm.
No, 980,000.
Okay.
Truck Series Homestead Fox, 906,000. Truck Series Lime Rock Fox, 616,000. Truck Series Bristol FS1, 496. Truck Series Martinsville FS1, 470. Truck Series Phoenix October FS1, 455. Trucks at Charlotte, 412. Trucks at Richmond, 411. Trucks at Texas, 401. Trucks at Martinsville, 362. Trucks at IRP, 341. Trucks at Charlotte Roval, 279. Trucks at Darlington, 262. Trucks at Watkins Glen, 253.
Okay.
What's one place that I did not call out right there?
Talladega.
Under no circumstances, if ARCA Talladega is at 317,000, under no circumstances should the Truck Series race at Talladega on Fox.
Yeah, that's the key.
Foxtrot, Oscar, X-Ray, Fox should not be on this list, because you cannot tell me that the bottom 2 on this list. I'm gonna go bottom 3. ARCA at DuQuoin, 43,000. Indy NXT at Laguna Seca, race 2, 34,000.
I'm a little surprised they got that much.
And ARCA Toledo at FS2 at 32,000 outdid Fox Trucks Talladega.
No. I don't care whether it was on the middle afternoon or not.
There's none.
Yeah. That's
No
why
excuse.
I say this list on that number 1 and the fact that we're not done with the F1 and the NHRA seasons number 2, this is an incomplete list. But if you take this at its face value and you compare it to what we talked about this time last year, there is some room for concern within the top 50. Because, again, we talked about how more than 40 of the races last year inside the top 50, more than 40, were Cup Series races. Now it's 35.
You have NHRA on FS1 outdoing trucks. That shouldn't happen. But from the trucks, Cup, and Xfinity, list is complete because they've got Martinsville October, Phoenix October, and Martinsville and Phoenix come after Talladega. Sorry, but no.
Yeah. So there's some problems with this, but again, just looking at it from what we got here, just taking that top 50, there's a big problem that NASCAR needs to figure out. And I don't know whether Steve Phelps and Steve O'Donnell have their finger on the pulse. I think their finger's off the pulse. They think they got a pulse, but their fingers aren't right on it. They better be careful. Better be careful. A lot of talk about the Fantasy League. Matt and I did not quite do as well as we hoped.
Did not.
But that's okay.
We got our teeth kicked in.
Yeah. But that's okay, because here's the fun part about it. There is, are we doing t-shirt or are we doing hoodie? I forget.
I know it's a hat, and I can't remember if it's a hoodie or t-shirt. I think it's t-shirt.
Okay. So we'll let us get to this, and we'll give the final rundown here in just a minute.
I've got it loaded up ready.
Oh, okay. By all means, then. Give us the final rundown.
Well, the inaugural CRN Fantasy Life champion, and considering he revealed himself on the chat.
Yes, he did.
Who it is. Junebug, better known as Keith Ivey.
Yeah.
Won it. And as I said all year, old Boom Slick finished second. Chase was third. The ghost of Stuart Haas finished fourth. And I still had a top 5, but still lost by 600.
Ouch.
So, yeah. Fire Chef was 6th. John was 7th. Myers. Staceman was 8th. And Plow with a big goose egg is 9th.
Yeah, he signed up and never set a lineup. Sorry, Mr. Plow.
Never did.
All right, so like Matt said, Keith, we're going to get in touch with you. We'll work it out and figure out what it is that you're looking for, and we'll make sure that we get it to you here, hopefully by Christmas. Okay?
We'll do what we can to make it happen.
Yep. We'll do everything we can. There are some things changing with our supplier, let's just put it that way, that I know of, so I've got to work with her and get that done. But we'll get it done. Don't worry about it.
We'll get it figured out.
We'll get it figured out. Since we got a couple of moments here, let's go ahead and do the Xfinity Series news. And to nobody's surprise, Connor Zilisch claimed 2025 Xfinity Series Rookie of the Year. He got 10 wins, 25 top 5 finishes, 32 starts in the year just ended. Basically did everything that he could but claim the division title. Just likely, again, one of the final nails in the coffin for the current playoff system. As for Chevrolet, they claimed their 27th manufacturer's title in the Xfinity Series, helped out not only by Zilisch and his junior motorsports cohorts, but by the season champion Jesse Love and his RCR racing team as well, amongst all the other Chevrolet teams. This marks their 23rd driver and 27th manufacturer's titles in this series. Congratulations to Chevrolet. As for that championship loss, Connor Zilisch last Saturday, it actually cost Zilisch more than just the division championship. Turned out he needed that championship to be able to get enough points for an ACC US or Automobile Competition Committee for the United States license. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means it would have allowed him to take part in a rookie test for the World Endurance Championship Series in Bahrain. That was the plan. Heading into last weekend's race was to have him go do that. When asked about it at the NASCAR banquet on Tuesday, Zilisch confirmed the report. He told motorsport.com, quote, "You need an FIA A license to run a hypercar in the WEC. I was supposed to go to Bahrain to do a test, but because of the points system, you get 10 points, you win the Xfinity Series Championship, 8 for second. I needed the 10 points to get the 14 I needed, and because I didn't win the title, I didn't have enough points." He also noted there's no appealing it, since it is a points system that's been in place for years. Quote, we've seen it with Colton Herta trying to get an F1 super license. There's no way around this. It's just kind of the way it is. I don't think it's really anything that I could do. I just had to go to win Saturday, and because I didn't, I don't get to run that. It's just kind of a second shot in the heart after the weekend. I knew it going in. It's not like it caught me by surprise, but it doesn't make it any easier losing.
I seen, you know whose team he was going to test for? The team that Tom Brady co-owns.
Nice.
Or the Hertz Yoda team.
Let's go. On the other hand, IMSA is set up a little bit different than what the World Endurance Championship Series Challenge Series is. So he's going to get a chance to drive an LMDH prototype for the Action Express Racing Team, one of their Cadillac V-Series R entries next week. Zilisch already has 2 class wins in the LMP2 class in IMSA competition. He's being evaluated for a potential GTP opportunity with Cadillac in the 2026 Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona, and this test will go a long way towards making that decision. I'll be real honest with you. If he doesn't get that ride, I would be floored.
And then some.
As good of a road course racer as Connor Zilic is, if you can put him in a car at an event like the Rolex 24 Hours, you do it!
Ka-chow.
Lightning McQueen.
Yep.
All right. Hour number 1 in the books. When we come back, we'll continue with Xfinity Series talk. I'm going to continue to call it, by the way, and we're going to continue to call it officially the Xfinity Series until the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And when we come back in 2026, we have to make the decision to change all the way over.
Don't touch that dial. The Championship Racing Network will be right back. Tires and 2 cans of fuel, and we're back to more racing action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back in. Hour number 2 underway. I'm Steve West along with Matt Nicholson in studio. If you're on CRN Live on YouTube, the man controlling everything is producer John. We appreciate him being a part of that, and everybody listening and or watching very much. Thank you. By the way, we're going to do this pretty much the rest of the year. We'll probably take off at least 1 week, maybe 2 over Christmas, New Year's. We generally do that. We haven't talked Thanksgiving yet. We'll talk about that and give you an update on that next week.
I will be full.
Really?
I'll be fully remote next week because of a pre-planned going out of town trip.
Yeah.
So I'll still be here, but be on the phone.
Okay. But again, like I said, we'll talk Thanksgiving. Probably will be here, but things could change. We'll let you know. Talking Xfinity Series, and again, for those of you wondering when we're going to make the change over to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series officially, which is going to be the name next year, we'll do that when 2026 dawns, okay? We noted a couple of weeks ago, Carson Kvapil coming off a great rookie year that pales really only in comparison to Connor Zilisch. Was going to be back in the number 1 junior motorsports ride in 2026. But he was going to be splitting time with Connor Zilisch in that car, who's going to return to drive several races with the team next year. Well, when he was asked about the amount of time that Kvapil might be doing or what Kvapil might be doing when Zilisch was in the number 1 car, Dale Jr. answered that on the Dale Jr. Download podcast this week, said that Kvapil is indeed going to be a full-time driver for Junior Motorsports next year. Quote, we do have a 5th entry here. Like a lot of people are like, wow, he's going to be driving Junior Motorsports cars? They're going to build cars and send them to other teams and all that? People forget. We got a 5th car here. So the question becomes, why move Kvapil and put Zilisch in the 1 car? Why not just put Zilisch in the 5th car, right? Welcome to contracts. Dale Jr. said this, quote, we have contracts and agreements that we can't do it any other way. We just can't. So, it's still going to work out. So,
because those contracts were preset before that 5th car option come up.
Exactly. So Kvapil will get to drive all the races next year. He's just going to be the one moving cars.
Probably, I would be willing to bet, probably you'll see him in that 9 car.
Okay. I can see that. Okay.
I would say the 9.
Yeah. We'll keep you updated on it as it comes along. Meanwhile, interesting move here. Parker Retzlaff, not done racing in what will become the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. It will not be, however, for Alpha Prime Racing. He, on Monday, posted on social media he was leaving the organization effective immediately. Join them for the 2025 season. They can do no better than 22nd in the final standings. In all, they accomplished several top 10 finishes, including a team and driver career best of 2nd. That was at Rockingham. 2 top 10 results in the final 8 races of the year. Those were at Worldwide Tech Raceway at Gateway as well. Retzlaff said this in a statement that he posted on social media. Quote, as I'm closing out my 3rd full-time season in the Xfinity Series, I'd like to announce that I will not be returning to Alpha Prime in 2026. I can't thank Tommy Joe Martin, Cesar Baccarella, and Team Alpha Prime enough for giving me the opportunities this season and allowing me to continue to chase this dream of mine, and added that his 2026 plans would be announced soon. Soon was, what, 2-3 days tops?
72 hours.
Soon was just a couple of days later.
In the most lateralist of lateral moves I've ever seen in motorsports.
Yeah, he's going to move from Alpha Prime to Viking Motorsports. He's going to take over their number 99 Chevrolet. Team's going to have a new crew chief as well. This is NASCAR veteran Danny Eflin. The moves led team owner Danny Sackett to call it, quote, the next step in the Viking journey. Former crew chief on the 99 Xfinity Series car is Pat Trison. He will remain with Viking Motorsports as the main supervisor of the shop operations for their headquarters located in Mooresville, North Carolina. You can see the next picture that producer John will put up is Retzlaff and Eflin talking, I guess, as they go through the shop.
All
right, so lateral move.
I don't get it.
Is it money?
It's got to be.
Okay, let me put this way. All right, so Pat Trison gets, we'll call it kicked upstairs to be the supervisor of the shop operations. What does that do for the shop at Viking? Does that help?
He basically was already doing it being the crew chief because they're such a small team.
Okay, but now he can concentrate on this. They bring in another NASCAR veteran for the crew chief for next year in Denny Eflin. What does this do?
I'm not so sure it does much because if memory serves me correct, pretty sure Danny Eflin was with him on the 4 car this year.
Okay, so you're not thinking that this is really going to change things much. As much as the team owner for Viking, Danny Sackett, would like to say, this is the next step in their evolution.
I don't. I don't get it.
Okay.
I don't. I'm looking at something right here in regards to that. I mean, you oust DiBenedetto.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty solid experience across all three levels.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to keep my mouth shut on that. I'm going to save that for the break. Pretty level across all three levels. Pretty solid, pretty level across all three. Okay. You oust him for Connor Mozak the last 3 races of the year.
Which did nothing for you, with all respect.
And you basically take, I'm not going to say backwards or up. I'm going to say a dead lateral move. And from Parker Retzlaff.
DiBenedetto to Retzlaff?
I'm talking about for Retzlaff going from car to car.
Okay. All right.
I don't get it. I just don't.
It's got to be a money thing. That's all I can think. But
yeah.
Here's the thing. We as a country, generally, we like to root for the underdog. I hope Viking Motorsports does well. I hope Parker Retzlaff does well. But at the same point in time, when you think about what they're up against, you know, RCR has a great Xfinity program. Joe Gibbs Racing has a great Xfinity Series program. Obviously, Junior Motorsports is a great Xfinity Series program. And oh, by the way, here's your next bit of information. Hendrick Motorsports, since they announced they were going to bring back the number 17 a few years ago on a part-time basis, Matt and I have been wondering here on this show how long it was going to take before that 17 became a full-time entry. How about 2026? Team announced that the 17 is going full-time next year with young driver Corey Day. Day signed on at Hendrick in December of 2024, debuted earlier this year at Martinsville, ran a total of 11 races, 2 top 10 finishes. Crew chief is going to be Adam Wall. He was the crew chief in that car all year long. So now you got Hendrick coming in. This is a car that has wins this year, just ended in the Xfinity Series. So it's got a winning heritage. And a young driver who, yeah, he's still got to smooth off some rough edges, but he's not bad. So you have Hendrick added into Junior Motorsports and Joe Gibbs Racing. You see where I'm going with this? This is the uphill battle that Viking Motorsports is going up against as a single car operation.
This right here, this right there. I'm making sure I got to point the right way.
Okay.
That guy right there on the picture?
Yeah.
That's what you call earning a ride on talent, not having to bring $1.5 billion just to drive a car.
Not bringing a check.
Not bringing a check. That's on talent.
Yeah.
Simply put. Simply put. And HendrickCars.com is making enough money that could
obviously
they could literally brand their entire fleet just like an F1 team. Be all identical and just look for the number differences.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you think about it now. HendrickCars.com is all over Kyle Larson's 5-car in the Cup Series.
Full-time.
Now they're full-time on this ride in the Xfinity
there.
Series. They have been for the last 2 years at least on Rajah Caruth's truck.
Rajah Caruth's truck.
That's 3 levels.
Okay.
Then there's the NHRA ride.
Greg Anderson. Full-time. And then periodic sponsorship of the forced cars.
And oh, by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't HendrickCars.com all over the Indycar ride that Kyle Larson had in the double?
That would be correct.
Yeah, they're not hurting over there.
No.
This ought to be interesting.
Uncle Richard's not hurting.
Nope. All right, let's turn our attention here. Not a whole lot going on, but there is one bit of news out of the truck series, and it is silly season news. McAnally Hilgeman Racing has announced that driver Tyler Ankram's returning to the team's number 18 truck next year, 2026. Marks his 3rd full-time year with the organization. 2025, kind of a breakout year for him. Championship appearance netted him 4th in the final standings. He kind of laid over in the final race at Phoenix. In addition to Ankram returning to the 18 truck as primary sponsor for 23 of the season's 25 races, next year is LIUNA, the Laborers International Union of North America. For LIUNA, this will be their 8th season as a sponsor in NASCAR. Ankram noted they've been a longtime sponsor of his, so it just makes natural partnership for them.
Family business.
Yeah, 3rd year in a row for him to be in that truck. What's it going to take for him to be able to make that next step? Assuming, of course, he wants to, because there are some drivers that are more than happy to be at this level. But assuming he wants to make that next step, what's it going to take for him to get up to the Xfinity Series?
I think he's not going very far than where he's at.
Okay.
Honestly.
Should he be happy right where he is and just
should
be like the next Matt Crafton, so to speak?
Maybe.
Okay.
I would be happy right where I'm at. Not happy. You call me. I'll drive the 18 truck.
There you go. Some basic NASCAR news here. The awards banquet was held on Tuesday. I think it's going to get some major television this weekend. I know that it was on the NASCAR free channel on like Tubi and stuff like that, but I want to say somebody's going to air it this weekend.
Considering that half of the NBC USA Turner broadcasting team was doing it, and plus NASCAR's chief hype officer was there as well too. Yay. I don't want to get on that.
We'll see.
I woke up in a mood today because it's playoff game day, and I woke up in a mood.
Gotcha. So the awards were handed out. So we'll go ahead and let you know what some of those awards were, and you won't have to worry about watching it because it's like 3 hours long. National Motorsports Press Association. That's something that Matt and I are members of. We might actually try and get producer John in there too. They announced the most popular driver award winners on Tuesday evening during the awards ceremony. Cup, Xfinity, Craftsman Truck Series. We'll show the pictures to you on CRN Live on YouTube here. I'm sure this will come as exactly zero shock to everybody. The Cup Series winner for the 8th consecutive year, Chase Elliott. Duh.
Clyde.
Yeah. As for the final official Xfinity Series most popular driver, marking the 3rd consecutive year for him to be voted as such, it is Justin Allgaier. Also marks this. Here's an interesting bit of trivia that you may not have known. This marks a win for a junior motorsports driver every single year since 2012. Didn't matter who the driver was. Breaking junior Justin Allgaier's streak before that in 2020, was it 2, I think, was Noah Gragson.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 more straight for Justin Allgaier. He'd won, 3 or 4 before that? 2 or 3 before that? Something like that. Can't remember the exact numbers. And as for the Craftsman Truck Series, for the 2nd year in a row, it's Rajah Caruth. Pictures were up there, like we said, on CRN Live on YouTube if you happen to be watching that. In addition, National Motorsports Press Association has a Myers Brother Award. The winner this year was veteran announcer Mike Joy. This is more than deserved, by the way. Mike Joy started covering races as a public address announcer at Riverside Park Speedway in Massachusetts before he joined the Motor Racing Network in 1977, worked with them on and off throughout 1990. ESPN, however, noted him, and in 1981 gave him a chance to work on television, worked for ESPN, worked for TNN in the same role in 1991. Got to move to CBS, started off at Pit Road, moved up to their lead announcer, 1998 through 2000, the final year of their deal before NASCAR joined over with Fox Sports. Joy moved with NASCAR. He's been with Fox Network since the 2001 season. As for the Myers Brother Award, why is it named that? Well, this goes to a person or a group that has provided the outstanding contribution to stock car racing over the course of their career. This is voted on, by the way, by members of the National Motorsports Press Association. Here's something to note. And I'll go ahead and give you a little insight. I'll pull the curtain back on this. All of the members are asked for nominations for awards like this throughout the course of the year. That also includes the Hall of Fame. Mike Joy was the only person nominated for the Myers Brothers Award this year. He was it. Nobody gave another name.
Yep.
And from what I understand, the vast majority of the people that were in the NMPA put his name in.
Oh, yeah. That's... And a definition of rightfully deserved, that's a clear definition of it.
Yeah. I mean, you think about that kind of career, anybody who's doing what he does, what we do, if you're involved in broadcasting related to racing in any way, you want to have that kind of career.
And then some.
Yep. So congratulations to him. All right, let's take a break here. When we come back, we'll switch a little bit. We're going to move to some open wheel racing. We'll start with IndyCar. Big decision made by the Penske Entertainment Group. This is very important because this has become an issue here over the last year, maybe 2. And we'll talk silly season. We'll also talk a test that they did because they're going to a track they hadn't been to in a little while. They wanted to make sure they had everything on the up and up.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network. 2 tires only, and back out to the track for more action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back as we turn our attention to the IndyCar series here on CRN on this Saturday, November the 8th. God, Thanksgiving's just around the corner. What the heck, man? This year's flying by. Not going to get into that. That's an old person's thing, and I'm old. What do you want? All right, here we go. Penske Entertainment Group's made a decision that they are hoping is going to lessen the idea that there's any bias in the officiating in IndyCar. As you should well know by now, if you're a longtime listener or viewer to this particular show, Penske Entertainment owns not only the IndyCar series, but the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Bought them a few years ago from the Holman George family, right? Just before COVID hit. Stupid COVID. But over the last couple of years, there have been some rulings that made some people question whether or not there was some undue influence on those rulings, or lack thereof in the case of penalties. Racer.com reported this week that IndyCar officials will now work with an outside entity, potentially but not necessarily confirmed as the SCCA, to handle the overall governance of the races and the oversight of the tech teams. Here's the deal. It's kind of a weird little rub. Penske Entertainment said that they're going to continue to lease that out as opposed to just flat out hiring an outside group to handle that entire situation. Begins with an independent 3-person board. They're going to be the go-between in the middle between Penske Entertainment and race control, or the tech inspectors, or any of those people. This is getting overtly complicated.
They want to hand it off, but they don't want to hand it off.
Yeah,
That's what that reads.
This is kind of like, I'm going to give this to Matt, but as he tries to grab it, I'm going to continue to hold on to it.
Yeah.
So you have it technically, but
Yeah.
I'm not really letting it go yet.
No.
Here's the thing, and I'll state this right here for Penske. This is that free advice like we like to give. Nichols worth of free advice, Penske Entertainment Group.
Mm-hmm.
Either keep it all in-house and try to withstand the blowback on that, or grab those strings and cut the apron and let it go.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do one of the two. You sitting there holding on to this like a little kid that doesn't want to let go of his toy before bedtime ain't going to cut it.
No, not at all. Not at all. If you're going to outsource it out and give it to another entity to cut down the chirping of interference, let's call it that.
Okay.
Hand it off.
Yeah.
Hand it off completely.
Yeah.
SCCA will do it in a heartbeat.
Sure. They'd be more than happy to do it.
Yeah.
Then there's this. This is pretty interesting news. IndyCar Firestone did something not seen in some time. They did a tire test, this one at Phoenix Raceway. The reason why is because IndyCar is going back to Phoenix for the first time since the 2018 season. Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi were there on Thursday with the new systems on the car since then, including the hybrid system. This car weighs about 100 pounds more than what it did back in 2018, and it showed on the speed chart. Pole position time for 2018 was 19 and a half seconds. That's a bit over 188 miles per hour. Think about that. 188 miles per hour on Phoenix.
It's moving.
Quickest time set in the test over this past couple of days, 21.1 seconds. But Scott Dixon said, quote, "We're on a lot lower power as opposed to high boost, so that's significant. I think in qualifying, you'll see mid-20s. So it'd be about a second off, which is, honestly, that's mostly just power. But remember this. Let's do a comparison, shall we? This is going to be the NASCAR IndyCar weekend in the spring of 2026. So remember, Truck Series will join IndyCar in the season opener at St. Petersburg, running on the streets. And then they're all going to shift out west to go to Phoenix. Well, the Truck Series isn't. But Xfinity and Cup are going to be moving out to Phoenix, and IndyCar will go with them. So it's a NASCAR IndyCar weekend, right? 20 and a half seconds or so per lap translates into about a speed of 175 miles per hour, give or take. And that's what Scott Dixon's expecting them to do. Pole time for Denny Hamlin at last weekend's championship race, 133.7.
Got to remember, one, you look at the time of year you're testing versus the time of year the race is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
There's phase one.
Mm-hmm.
Phase two, you kind of have a little bit of a differently configured racetrack here.
So
just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So that's going to slow you down just a hair
And in all likelihood, these guys aren't going to run down below on the apron like the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series does.
Lord have mercy.
You want to talk about upsetting an IndyCar.
Dude, you'd rip the whole front wing off the car.
So if these guys are still pulling that kind of speed, staying above the yellow line in that test, and if Scott Dixon's right, you're still talking about a 40 mile per hour give or take difference in the qualifying numbers.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I mean, just like it's 100 and I'm wanting to say it was like 180-ish at Iowa.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We see literally out of this sets of eyes and those set of eyes seen 201 at Nashville. And I'm going, okay. Woo.
Yeah.
That's moving.
Scooting, baby. Going to be a fun weekend.
Yeah.
Andretti Global. They've made a couple of moves this week. First off, they announced they locked in driver Kyle Kirkwood to a long-term deal. He's going to be in the number 2 for the next several years, although they did stop short of releasing exactly how long the contract's for. Kirkwood driven for Andretti since he joined the Road to IndyCar ladder of feeder series several years ago. In fact, he's the only driver to claim titles in USF 2000, USF Pro 2000, and Indy Next, and did so all in consecutive seasons. Only driver to do that. 2025, a little bit of a breakout one for Kirkwood. He claimed 3 wins, Long Beach, Detroit, St. Louis, claimed 4th in the final standings. While he was working his way up through the system, his first year in IndyCar was actually running for AJ Foyt Racing, and that was mainly because, well, they needed a place to put him until a seat at Andretti opened up, and it finally did. That happened for the 2023 season. Leading up to 2025, he had 2 wins in total with Andretti. So 5 wins totals, 6 poles, 6 podium finishes, and things are looking up.
Yep.
Not a bad pull.
Nope.
Then there's this one, and I'm going to be curious to see where this is. This really deals with training? I don't know. I'm curious about this one because we really haven't heard a lot about this kid. I remember him running at Barber Motorsports Park earlier this year in the Indy Next Series, but Andretti Global has promoted Brazilian driver Caio Collet to the IndyCar Series, where he's going to take over the number 4 Chevrolet-powered entry for them. Collet's now all of 23 years old. He finished 2nd in the Indy Next Series, and the season just ended. He won 4 races in his 2 seasons in the Indy Next Series, claimed the 2024 Rookie of the Year honors after a 3rd-place finish that year. Sponsorship for his 2026 schedule going to come from the Brazilian company Combitrans Amazonia. It's a logistics corporation, provides cargo transportation up to, but not including, hazardous materials in and around Brazil and South America. Also has a moving service for both companies and residential. This is obviously it's something of a check thing.
Yeah.
Based upon what you heard from his resume in 2 years in Indy Next, what kind of expectations do you have in his rookie year for IndyCar? He's got some good people to learn from. That's a plus.
I would say just finish.
That's why I'm saying this, to me, kind of seems like a training year for him.
Yeah, just finish.
Okay.
Finish the races.
All right. So that pretty much means that I would say probably 95% of the seats are settled in IndyCar, give or take. Still come silly season news to come, though. Things like executives moving around. Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing announced that they hired away veteran manager and team executive Brian Barnhart, pulling him away from Arrow McLaren Racing. He's going to take on the role of senior VP of operations at Rahal Letterman Lanigan. He's also bringing Kyle Sagan with him to become the new RLL Racing pit stop manager. He'll oversee the training of all pit crews for the company. Arrow McLaren didn't waste any time. They hired IndyCar veteran engineer Olivier Boyson to become their new head of damper engineering. Well, that's a specific title, isn't it? This marks his 4th team since he joined in 2008 in IndyCar. He joined KV Racing that year as a race engineer. 2016, he moved over to Dale Coyne Racing in a similar role, then headed to Andretti Global for 2022 before now taking the job at Arrow McLaren. He's a well-thought-of guy within, by the way, the garage area of IndyCar, so it should be interesting. I get the funny feeling that title is really more just a title. He's got to be a heck of a lot more involved than just trying to work on the engineering of the dampers, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got to.
Not with that experience.
Yeah, but you sit there and look at Rahal Letterman. Now I got Brian Barnhart. You got Jay Fry as the team president. It's almost like they're putting the band back together on their side to go against Penske, because all those executives that were changed out, let go, and changed over and whatever, now that Ray Hall let them in line again. So,
and I get it. There's a quote unquote cheating scandal going on over there. I get that, but at the same time, they had to build that team up to the point where there was such a white hot spotlight that people paid that much attention to it.
Oh yeah,
and these were people that were central to that.
Yeah, they had to.
So I get why you would go after people like that. Makes perfect sense. All right, to Formula One. Officials over at Williams have announced that after the 2025 season wraps up here in a couple more weeks, they're going to make a couple of changes, including bringing back the famed Forward W that team founder and long-term owner Frank Williams started the team off with. This isn't the first time that the W was taken off the cars. They did it once when they were paired with BMW back in 2000. Then the stylized letter got removed, but it made a comeback after the BMW deal came to an end. But with the passing of Sir Frank Williams and the sale of the team to the U.S.-based Doralton Capital Company, it came back off the car for a little while. Doralton, though, has the goal of making Williams once again a championship-winning team. They want to add to the 9 Constructor Cup titles that team has since they joined Formula One back in 1977. Wow, 50 years ago almost. Only Ferrari and McLaren have more Constructors' Cup titles than Williams in F1 history. Doralton decided that bringing back the stylized W, although not quite the way that it used to look, it's kind of a good harbinger of past success. I don't mind the throwback. I don't know if it's going to be that big of a deal, because the people that are familiar with that stylized W from way back when, they're pretty much all gone.
Yeah, but I can kind of see what they're doing with it, with bringing back some heritage with it.
Yeah.
Kind of, because considering that Williams has stepped up and they've gotten from 3 years ago to today, how much better they are overall.
Which we're going to detail here in a moment.
Yeah. I think it may be a good omen for them.
Okay.
Bring back the yesteryear, because if they keep on the trajectory they're on, they'll be back in threat winning races.
So a logo can mean that much to a team?
Especially with the heritage of Williams, absolutely.
Okay. Team principal James Vole says, quote, "As a team, we are inspired by our past, but excited about our future, committed to writing a new championship winning history or chapter in Williams history." Think about this. As he said, they're making really good steps here. I mean, when we started really covering Formula One here in this show on a regular basis, Williams was a doormat. They were constantly at or near the bottom of the standings.
Yep.
I mean, there were a couple of years where we were wondering if they were going to score even a championship point. They were that bad. This year, right now, as we head into this weekend in Brazil, they're sitting 5th in the standings, leading that second-tier team behind only the 4 leaders, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull. And we have seen where McLaren was a solid mid-pack group, and they figured out how to step it up, and they become a championship contender. Obviously walked away with the Constructors' Cup, and right now both of their drivers are leading the Drivers' Championship. So it can be done.
Absolutely it can be done. Absolutely it can.
And Williams is taking it step by step. Not the only change, by the way, for the 2026 season. The team is going to slightly alter their official name. They will become the Atlassian, that's their title sponsor, Atlassian Williams F1 team, which you can see right there on CRN Live on YouTube if you're watching there, as opposed to what they're calling themselves this year, which is simply Atlassian Williams Racing, the name they've used since the software company came on board as the title sponsor for this year, earlier this year. As for what used to be the doormats in Williams to this year's doormats, Alpine. They got major problems, let's face it. They're sitting on the bottom of the point standings and not looking good. But apparently the team feels that the drivers are not really their problem. What's the old song? I got 99 problems. Drivers ain't one, to paraphrase.
Yeah.
We'll see. Team officials announced this week that despite not scoring a point versus his teammate Pierre Gasly, who has all of the 20 points that the team has scored this season, Franco Colapinto has a one-year extension to his deal. Marks his first full year with the team. Wait, what do you mean by that? Well, you might remember they had some growing pains earlier this year, shall we put it nicely? He joined the team a few races into the season, replacing Jack Doohan. Jack Doohan stumbled out of the gate, and Franco Colapinto's been kind of stumbling ever since. Colapinto has seemed to learn from Gasly some since joining the team. But think about this. In the time that they've raced together, Colapinto's only outqualified Gasly 5 times. One of those times, Gasly crashed out. Colapinto's crashed out of qualifying twice himself. In the past handful of races, each time, yes, he was outpaced by Gasly, but it is interesting to note he has closed the gap. He's generally within about 5 seconds of Gasly at the end of each race, and that's over the course of the full race.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an insignificant gap, but at the same point in time, if you were 17 seconds behind on average in the first couple of races to get it down to within 5, that is an improvement. So I will give credit where it's due.
Yep.
As for the sprint race, which is over, what was the result there? Let's go ahead and look into that.
Considering I goofed and cut the page off again. Here we go. Here we go.
It happens. We do that from time to time.
Sprint results basically were no change until after that red flag call. It was Norris, Antonelli, Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc, Alonso, Hamilton, Gasly, Stroll, Hadjar.
That's your top 10?
Top 10.
So Gasly actually claimed a point by finishing 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Way to go, Alpine.
Ocon, Berryman, Lawson, Sonoda, Sainz, Hulkenberg, Albon, Bortoletto, Piastri, Colapinto.
Okay. Wow, Colapinto last. Not good.
Nope.
When do they start qualifying?
At 12 o'clock.
Okay, so we won't even be on the air when we start that. Just to let you know. But it will be on ESPN or ESPN2 or ESPN Plus or whatever, one of those things if you happen to have that. Good luck.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you happen to have it.
Especially if you got YouTube TV.
Yeah, good luck. Congratulations out to Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc. He announced he is engaged to his longtime girlfriend, and I'm going to mess up this name, but I'm going to try it anyway. Her name, Alexandria Saint-Melux, M-L-E-U-X. Those French. Can I buy a consonant or a vowel? I don't know. Pick one. They put it up on social media last weekend. The drivers had the weekend off between the races in Mexico City and Sao Paulo. The pic, which you can see right now of Leclerc and his fiancée, includes their pup Leo, the caption of now Mr. and Mrs. Leclerc. Close. Got to officially go through with it. Mm-hmm. I think to nobody's surprise, it is an F1 driver after all. Alexandra is a model. Of course she is. And a social media influencer of some sort. I've never heard of her. For some people, I guess.
Color me shocked.
Yeah. She's been a student of art, concentrating on the 20th century from a French school that's associated with the famed Louvre Museum. However, for a social media influencer, she's actually kept a fairly low profile. In fact, when she started to date Leclerc, again, social media influencer, when she started to date Leclerc, she put all of her social media accounts on private.
Smart move.
Okay. Details of how and exactly where he popped the question, we don't really know, but another picture that we don't have had Leo sporting a dog tag that reads, quote, "Dad wants to marry you." She said yes. The pair have been together since 2023. With the announcement, several of his F1 fellow drivers sent their applause, including his Ferrari teammate, Lewis Hamilton. All right. Heineken and Formula One have extended their deal. We'll talk about that when we come back, because this actually could be an interesting situation for literally anybody in the world. If you've ever wanted to be a world traveler, we might have your opening. And it could be paid for by Heineken and Formula One. How? Stick around. We'll tell you right after we get done with this break.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network. to the Championship Racing Network.
Yeah, we are run to the finish here, and we have got to finish on time because our flagship station is going to, being an Alabama affiliate, they have, yes, the Alabama LSU game later tonight, but the Alabama basketball team, men's basketball team, is in New York City, Madison Square Garden.
The St. John's Red Storm, who they're facing off against.
Yep, and their coach, soon to be, if he's not already, Hall of Famer Rick Pitino. Yep. This will be a very big test for Nate Oates and the boys, so we'll have to join them right straight up at 10 o'clock. So, yeah, we've got to get out of here on time. All right. Partnership that could benefit you. It's a partnership that began about a decade ago. As it stands, set to continue. Formula One announced they have not only extended their deal with Heineken, but in the new deal, things are going to grow out a bit. Since joining as a partner, Heineken has created some eye-catching at-the-track attractions, advertisements, as well as using some F1 drivers in their TV and streaming commercials. Well, for 2026 and through the run of the deal, the F1 Fan Zone is going to be presented by Heineken 0.0. That's their non-alcoholic offering. You know, if you just like the taste of beer but don't want to get the effects, I guess. I don't know. They will also be the sponsor of the Star Fans promotion. This celebrates the fans around the world at each stop on the F1 schedule, including highlights on F1.com and a whole lot more. But maybe, most importantly to this, is the return of what's being called the season ticket, which you will see on CRN Live on YouTube if you happen to be watching. This is, for those of you listening on the radio, where one lucky F1 fan and a friend get a special carbon fiber ticket. Denotes that the fan and the friend of their choosing can go to any and all races that they want to, with travel and hotel included. How did this idea come about? Well, it came about because one fan made a social media buzz about wanting to go to all 2025 races, and Heineken decided to help out, and they're going to continue it next year. By the way, pretty cool looking card. I like the carbon fiber with the rivets.
Have passport, will travel.
You go. So if you've ever wanted to be a world traveler and take in a whole bunch of races, there you go. How much time you get off from work? How much vacation time you got, boys and girls?
Yeah.
Just asking the question.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to Jack Doohan here. We talk about how it took all of 6 races for Alpine to decide that Jack Doohan was not the driver that they were hoping for. I'm not 100% sure that it was a big enough sample personally, but hey, Alpine's sitting at the bottom of the standing, so what the heck do I know? Since the 7th race of the season, they've had Franco Colapinto in the car, so Doohan, who's now in a reserve driver mode and has very little chance of getting another shot at F1, what's he going to do? How about Super Formula? That's the report anyway. Doohan would like to get back to a full-time ride while seeking other opportunities to latch on in Formula One, maybe get that elusive second chance. Reports from several sources, including motorsport.com, have Doohan talking to a group called Kondo Racing about joining their Toyota-powered operation for the Japanese-based series. Now, here's the interesting part of this. Doohan's father was recently seen talking to Haas F1. You say, why Haas F1? Well, Doohan's father is a 5-time MotoGP champion, Mick Doohan, with the Toyota connection from Super Formula and Haas. It does seem to be a decent fit, right? Haas has already been using other Toyota drivers for their reserve role this year, and a couple of them have even gotten, Ryo Hirakawa specifically, getting some FP1 practice sessions. Toyota officials have said that while there is interest to have Doohan in Super Formula at this time, any role with Haas F1 is not being considered or talked about. So Mick might have been jumping the gun a little bit.
Possible.
Yeah. Well, best of luck to Jack. Hopefully he'll be able to recover and figure out what he's going to do and, you know, find some. I mean, I'm not going to say never. I mean, Mick Schumacher continues to get talked about as having a second run in Formula One, but he still hadn't gotten it yet. Getting a second chance at F1 is not unheard of, but again, it's not the most common thing on the planet.
Very true.
So we'll see.
Very true.
Turn our attention to the straight liners here with some NHRA, IHRA news, really all NHRA this week, not really any IHRA news because they're racing. KB Titan Racing is expanding out their Pro Stock car ranks. Well, what they've done is they've added Keith Haney to the ownership group specifically. Now, Haney is a veteran pro-modified racer and a businessman from Oklahoma who owns several racing-related businesses, which includes several car dealerships. He owns the Midwest Drag Racing Series along with Tulsa Raceway Park and Tulsa Speedway. Plus, he's got his own personal racing exploits. So this team, which was founded by racers, Greg Anderson, Ken Black, who has obviously since passed away, unfortunately. Joined by Rob Downing, Eric Latino, Jim Whiteley. Although, as we reported here, again, they lost Ken Black recently. The team began as a one-car operation, expanded to a two-car team in 2024. They continue to grow out of their shop in the NASCAR country, really. Their shop is in Mooresville, North Carolina.
They've got a good-sized shop. I've seen it.
Yeah. So, what I know is that he's joined the ownership group. I'd be shocked if he doesn't get track time. I don't know about full-time, but I'd be shocked if he doesn't get some track time.
Yeah, I agree. He'll get some, just a matter of how much.
Yeah. So, I mean, KB Racing, let me get their name right, KB Titan Racing specifically, they're not exactly underdogs when it comes to this particular division. They're very, very good. I mean, Elite Motorsports tends to get all the headlines, but don't overlook what KB Titan does. They're a very good team. Speaking of expanding, and I know producer John will like this picture, Ron Capps, who's in his fourth year as a team owner and driver in a single-car operation, has announced he wanted to expand to two cars, but he was waiting for the right driver and the opportunity.
I just caught that.
Back in April, he announced that his driver was going to be a young 21-year-old by the name of Maddie Gordon. Maddie Gordon not only can drive, but she can turn wrenches. She's done so on her family-owned team's entry. She will join Ron Capps' team in a second car. It's the first Top Fuel entry for the organization and will feature sponsorship, which you can tell on the shirt that she's wearing, by Capps' own private label hand tool brand called Carlisle Tools. This brand continues to begin to expand out. They're working not only with Napa Auto Parts, which is Ron Capps' primary sponsor, but they're working with technical schools to help students get started in the motorsports or auto mechanics field. This is going to be a great opportunity for them to get some really good publicity for that tool brand.
Yep.
A great opportunity for her, too, because Ron Capps is not going to mess with a team that's going to be a backmarker.
No. Absolutely not.
We'll see how this young lady does. Good luck to her. Hope she does well. And then there's Formula E here, and I meant to get a picture for producer John, but I unfortunately did not get it in time, and that's on me. It's not on producer John. But Formula E news here takes us to where Jaguar has found a good name who could take over for Antonio Felix da Costa should he end up running a World Endurance Challenge Series race instead of the scheduled Formula E race in this coming season. And we talked about this not that long ago. That's the reason Antonio Felix da Costa flipped over to Jaguar, was because his previous team wouldn't allow him to pull double duty. Now he can. Supposedly, he's going to concentrate on the Formula E stuff. Yeah. Let's just say that there's more than one weekend where WEC stuff does run on the same weekend as Formula E.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some races where you can go, you know what? Yeah, I can let that one pass. But then there are some other races where there's more prestige involved.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad guy to pull in if Antonio Felix da Costa chooses to go WEC instead of Formula E that weekend. Stoffel Van Dorn, Formula E veteran.
Solid.
Official reserve driver for the year after having been let go by Maserati. He won the 2022 Formula E drivers titles, got over 100 starts on his resume over 7 seasons. He's run for Mercedes, where he won his title, then to DS Penske before the ride at Maserati last year. Also mentioned he's the team's long-term simulator driver, Tom Dillman. This is the secondary guy. He's also been listed as a reserve driver, which he is again, but in this case, he now takes secondary reserve driver role behind Stoffel Van Dorn. Because, simulator's great and all, but actual on the track, behind the wheel of a Formula E car, that takes precedence. Mm-hmm. And Tom Dillman doesn't have anything in comparison to Stoffel Van Dorn.
Nope, not at all.
Formula E had a preseason test that wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. We just didn't get to it last weekend. Their lone preseason test session wrapped up 5 sessions on Spain's Valencia road course. Overall best time of the 5 sessions might foretell that Mahindra may have found something, as Eduardo Martara was amongst the quickest each day, had the fastest time of all 5 sessions, getting around the 2.1-mile version of the course in 1 minute, 21.493 seconds. Oliver Rowland and last year's breakout Taylor Bernard were second and third for Nissan and DS Penske, respectively. Top 5 got filled out by the other Nissan of Norman Nato and the second Mahindra driven by Nick DeVries, so both Mahindras are in the top 5 after last year kind of languishing near the bottom of the standings. Then there's Citroën, the newest team. They had one of their drivers slip up inside the top 10. The other, however, could do no better than 17th of the 20 drivers. 10 teams are in for next year's Formula E season, which actually begins next month. McLaren bowed out, couldn't find a buyer. You say, well, wait a minute. Citroen comes in, right? Which means 11? No. Stellantis pulled the Maserati name off the team and replaced it with Citroen. 10. Then there's the fourth generation. This is what I meant to get a picture of. Is the upcoming fourth generation Formula E racer. Again, single-seater. Formula E officials are giving some facts about this as it prepares to become the series' official ride the next couple of years. They do note this new ride will have more power than any of the previous generations, 3 of them, offering 450 kilowatts of peak horsepower. That will up the speed. There's also a new, even higher peak power in what they're calling attack mode. This will take the output for a set period of time up to 600 kilowatts. The regenerative braking system now will, they state, Formula E officials, reclaiming more energy than ever before, allowing for what officials are calling a 43% increase in total energy available throughout the race. So not quite 50%. In addition, the racers will have all-wheel drive. All right, you're the racer in the group here. Mm-hmm. Me as a student, shall I say, I stopped to think about all the stuff that they're adding on to this, and I kept thinking to myself, this car is going to be a dream to drive. The racers will have all-wheel drive, automatic traction control, and an anti-lock braking system, all integrated. You're for all intents and purposes, the only difference is how much more are you willing to go into a corner before you hit the brakes? That's the only difference in the drivers.
If you got anti-lock braking system, you could literally drive it in 3 cars deep before you even brake. Simply put.
They have taken most of the driving ability out of the car with that. I could drive this car and probably do so fairly competitively.
That's making the car too easy to drive.
Yeah.
Too easy.
They state that the biggest change is the bodywork, allows for both high and low downforce options, customizable to the individual course that they're going to run on any given weekend. So they don't have a whole lot of ability to change the aerodynamics on it now. Now they're stating that you will be able to do that as well. So in addition to that, now you can do a high or a low downforce option.
Right.
This car is going to be stupidly easy to drive. Car is going to be the official racer for the 2026-27 season. Not this upcoming season, but the next one. Good luck, guys. Again, I think you're making it too easy. Too many electronic doodads and gadgets and all that kind of stuff.
Second, third, fourth, and fifth that motion.
But then again, I can't remember the last time I watched a race because finding CBS Sports and whenever they finally do air a Formula E race is damn near impossible. Pardon my French.
Now I can see what you're saying with that.
I have not caught a Formula E race live, I think 2 years now? Maybe longer.
It's been about the same.
Yeah. Oh, well.
About the
All
same.
right. Keith, get a hold of us. We gave you some of the, try and find us here.
Whether
has. It's Matt. Okay, already has. Good deal.
We're good.
All right. So we're going to figure it out. We will make sure to get you what we promised. I guarantee it. We will get it to you. We turn things over here on the flagship radio station over to Alabama basketball here in just a couple of moments. Don't worry. We'll be back with another edition of Cross Flags coming up here this week. We should be able to record it on Tuesday in studio with producer Molly. We thank her for doing that. We thank producer John for everything he's done today and helping out with everything on CRN Live on YouTube. You have the chance to comment and subscribe down below. Please do so. We love it when you do that. And what we will do is talk to you on Tuesday for the podcast. We will be back next week. Me in studio. Matt will be with us, but he'll be by phone.
Ohio State.
Got to take these trips sometime, man. It's the way that it goes. Y'all have a fantastic week. We'll talk to you Tuesday and then next Saturday with Crossed Flags and the next CRN Live, the big show right here on Saturday morning. Y'all have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.